Ho had been awake for 23 hours. His eyes burned. His legs hurt. His brain felt like someone had filled it with wet sand. The night shift on the carrier ship had been brutal, and all he wanted was to crawl into his bunk and sleep for the next 100 years. The hallway of the GSS Unity was long and gray. Ho walked slowly, his feet dragging against the metal floor. Around him, other crew members moved with purpose. Engineers carried tools. Pilots checked their tablets. Everyone had somewhere important to be. Ho just wanted to be in bed. The Unity was a massive ship. It carried over 3,000 crew members from 12 different species. Humans had only joined the Galactic Alliance 5 years ago, and they were still the new kids on the block. Most aliens looked at humans with curiosity. Some looked at them with doubt. A few looked at them like they were strange pets that had somehow learned to fly spaceships. Ho did not care about any of that right now. He cared about sleep. He turned a corner and almost walked into a wall. He blinked hard and shook his head. Just a few more minutes. His quarters were on Deck 7. He was on Deck 5, 2 more levels. He could make it. The elevator doors opened, and Ho stepped inside. He leaned against the wall and closed his eyes. The elevator hummed softly as it moved upward. When the doors opened again, he stepped out without looking. And that was when he saw her. Admiral walked down the hallway with 3 officers behind her. She was a species that looked like tall, elegant cats that had decided to walk on 2 legs. Her fur was a deep silver color, almost like moonlight. Her eyes were large and golden, with vertical pupils that seemed to see everything at once. She wore a dark blue uniform with gold markings that showed her rank. But Ho's tired brain did not register any of that. What his tired brain registered was her tail. Admiral had a long, fluffy tail that swayed gently as she walked. It was the same silver color as her fur, but the tip was white. It looked incredibly soft. It looked like a cloud that had decided to become part of a cat. And right above that tail was the fluffiest, roundest, most adorable rear end Ho had ever seen. His exhausted brain, completely disconnected from his common sense, made his mouth move. "That is the most adorable fluffy but I have ever seen," Ho mumbled. He did not mean to say it out loud. He thought he was thinking it. He was so tired that the line between thoughts and words had become very blurry. The hallway went silent. Admiral stopped walking. Her ears, which were tall and pointed, rotated backward. Her tail went stiff. The 3 officers behind her stared at Ho with expressions of pure horror. Ho blinked. Why was everyone looking at him? Why had everything gone quiet? Then his brain caught up with his mouth. "Oh no. Oh no, no, no." He had said that out loud. He had called the Admiral's butt adorable, out loud, in a hallway where everyone could hear. Admiral turned around slowly. Her golden eyes locked onto Ho like targeting lasers. Her pupils became thin slits. She was tall, much taller than him. Most were over 2 meters in height. She looked down at him with an expression that Ho could not read. "What?" she said, her voice low and cold. "Did you just say?" Ho's mouth opened. No sound came out. His brain was screaming at him to say something, anything, but all his words had run away and hidden somewhere far from his tongue. I, he stammered. One of the officers behind the Admiral, a male with dark gray fur, stepped forward. "Admiral, this human clearly does not understand our customs. Perhaps we should." "Silence, Commander Riven," Admiral said without looking away from Ho. "I want to hear what this human has to say for himself." Ho felt sweat forming on his forehead. His tiredness had vanished completely, replaced by pure terror. He was looking at one of the highest-ranking officers in the entire fleet, a legendary tactician, a war hero, and he had just commented on her butt. "Admiral, I am so sorry," Ho finally managed to say. "I did not mean to say that. I have been awake for almost 24 hours. I was not thinking clearly, it just came out." Admiral's tail swished slowly behind her. Her ears were still pointed backward, which Ho had learned was a sign of intense focus in body language. "You spoke without thinking," she said. "Yes, Admiral. You made a comment about my posterior." Ho wanted to die. "Yes, Admiral." "In front of my officers." "Yes, Admiral, I am deeply sorry." Admiral studied him for a long moment. Her golden eyes moved over his face, his uniform, his shaking hands. She seemed to be analyzing him like he was a strange puzzle that needed solving. "What is your name, human?" she asked. "Ensign Park Ho, Admiral, Engineering Division." "Ensign Park," she repeated. Her accent made his name sound different, more musical. "Report to my cabin at 1800 hours." Ho felt his heart stop. Your cabin, Admiral." Did I stutter? "No, Admiral." "Then you heard me correctly. 1800 hours. Do not be late." She turned and continued walking down the hallway. Her officers followed, but not before giving Ho looks that ranged from pity to amusement to absolute confusion. Ho stood alone in the hallway. His legs felt weak. His hands were still shaking. He had no idea what had just happened or what was going to happen at 1800 hours. He knew one thing for certain, though. He was never going to be tired enough to speak without thinking again, assuming he survived whatever the Admiral had planned for him. Ho slowly walked to his quarters. Sleep was no longer possible. His brain was too full of panic. He sat on his bunk and stared at the wall. "I am going to die," he said to the empty room. "I am going to die because I called an alien cat Admiral's butt adorable." The room did not answer, but somewhere in the ship, Ho could have sworn he heard the universe laughing at him. Ho spent the next 6 hours in a state of quiet panic. He tried to eat lunch, but the food tasted like cardboard. He tried to review engineering reports, but the words swam on the screen. He tried to take a shower, but he just stood under the water and stared at nothing. At 1500 hours, his friend found him in the recreation room. She was also from the engineering division, a small woman with sharp eyes and a sharper tongue. She sat down across from him and raised an eyebrow. "You look terrible," she said. "I feel terrible," Ho replied. "What happened? Did you break something expensive again?" "Worse." Leaned forward. "Worse than the time you accidentally vented coolant into the captain's private bathroom." "Much worse." "Tell me." Ho took a deep breath. He told her everything. The exhaustion, the hallway, the Admiral, the comment, the order to report to her cabin. By the time he finished, his face had gone through several expressions. Surprise, disbelief, horror, and finally something that looked like reluctant admiration. "You called Admiral's butt adorable," she said slowly. "The Admiral, the hero of the Battle of Nexus Point. The woman who destroyed an entire enemy fleet with 17 ships." "I know." Out loud. "I know." Where she could hear you. "I know, I was there." Sat back and whistled low. "Ho, I have known you for 3 years. You have done many stupid things in that time, but this might be the thing you have ever done. Thank you for your support." "I am serious. Do you have any idea what you did?" Ho frowned. "I made an inappropriate comment to a superior officer. I know I will probably face disciplinary action, maybe cleaning duty for a month, maybe a formal reprimand in my file." Shook her head. "No, you do not understand. This is not just about military protocol. This is about culture." "What do you mean?" Looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then she leaned closer and spoke in a low voice. "They take personal comments very seriously. Their tales are considered extremely private. Commenting on someone's tail or the area around their tail is not just rude. It means something specific." Ho felt his stomach drop. "What does it mean?" "It is either a grave insult that requires a formal duel to settle, or it is a declaration of romantic interest." Ho stared at her. What? I am serious. In culture, if you comment on someone's tale in a positive way, you are basically saying you want to court them, to date them, to pursue a romantic relationship. But I did not know that. Does not matter, you said what you said, and the Admiral heard it. Everyone in that hallway heard it. Ho put his head in his hands. This cannot be happening. It is happening, and you have to go to her cabin in 3 hours. Maybe she just wants to yell at me, tell me I am an idiot, give me extra duty. Looked doubtful. Maybe, but do not usually invite people to their private quarters to yell at them. They do that in public to show dominance. Private meetings are for other things. What other things? I do not know exactly. I am not an expert on customs. I just know what I have heard from others. Paused. There is an engineer on deck 3. Her name is, she might be able to tell you more. Ho looked at the time. He had less than 3 hours. I need to find her. Go, I will cover for you if anyone asks where you are. Ho stood up quickly. Thank you. Thank me by not getting yourself killed. Ho ran. He found in the engineering bay on deck 3. She was a young with tan-colored fur and bright green eyes. She was working on a power conduit when Ho approached her. Excuse me, he said, trying to catch his breath. Are you? She looked up at him. Yes, you are the human who called the Admiral's rear adorable, are you not? Ho groaned. Everyone knows already. It has been the main topic of conversation on the ship for the past 5 hours. Some think you are very brave. Others think you are very stupid. Most think you are both. Great, wonderful. Ho took a breath. I need your help. I need to understand what I did. What does it mean in culture when someone comments on another person's tail area? Put down her tools. Her tail curled with what might have been amusement. You really do not know. I really do not know. Among my people, the tail is sacred. It is a symbol of our identity, our emotions, our inner self. We do not let just anyone touch our tails. We do not even let people comment on them unless there is trust. I understand, I made a mistake. You made more than a mistake. You made a statement, tilted her head. When you said the Admiral's rear was adorable, you were not just being rude. You were declaring interest, public interest, in front of witnesses. But I did not mean it that way. Intent does not change the words. The words were spoken. The Admiral heard them. Now she must respond. Ho felt sick. How will she respond? That depends on her. If she considers your words an insult, she may challenge you to a duel. Honor demands it. If she considers your words a genuine declaration of interest, she may. Paused. She may what? She may accept the declaration and begin the courtship process. Courtship process? Yes, it involves spending time together, learning about each other. The Admiral may want to keep you close while she decides how she feels about your declaration. Ho's brain was spinning. But I do not want to court the Admiral. I mean, she is impressive and beautiful and terrifying, but I just made a stupid comment because I was tired. His ears twitched. You think she is beautiful? That is not the point. I think it might be the point. Picked up her tools again. My advice to you, human, is to be honest. Value honesty above almost everything else. If you try to lie or make excuses, the Admiral will know, and she will not be pleased. What if I am honest and she still wants to fight me? Then you will probably die. Admiral is one of the finest warriors our species has produced. Ho stared at her. You are not very comforting. I am not trying to be comforting, I am trying to prepare you. Looked at him with her bright green eyes. Be honest, be respectful, and whatever you do, do not run. See running as a challenge to chase. That is terrifying. Yes, good luck, human. Ho walked slowly back to his quarters. He had 1 hour left before he had to report to the Admiral's cabin. 1 hour to figure out how to explain that he had accidentally declared romantic interest in one of the most powerful officers in the galaxy. He sat on his bunk and tried to remember everything he knew about culture. It was not much. He was definitely going to die. The door to the Admiral's cabin was large and imposing. It was made of dark metal with gold symbols carved into its surface. Ho stood in front of it at exactly 1800 hours. His heart was pounding so hard he could hear it in his ears. He took a deep breath and pressed the chime button. "Enter," came the Admiral's voice from inside. The door slid open silently. Ho stepped through. The Admiral's cabin was nothing like he expected. He had imagined cold metal walls and military precision. Instead, he found warmth and softness. The walls were covered with tapestries in deep reds and golds. The floor was covered with thick rugs that looked incredibly soft. There were plants in the corners, strange alien flowers with blue petals. The lighting was warm and gentle. Admiral stood near a large window that showed the stars outside. She had removed her formal uniform jacket. She wore a simpler shirt underneath, dark gray with silver threading. Without her jacket, Ho could see her figure more clearly. She was tall and lean, with the graceful build of a natural predator. Her tail swayed slowly behind her. "Close the door," she said without turning around. Ho did as he was told. The door closed with a soft click. He was now alone with the Admiral in her private quarters. His legs felt weak. "You came on time," she said. "Good, punctuality is important." "Yes, Admiral." She finally turned to face him. Her golden eyes studied him carefully. In the warm light of her cabin, she looked different, less cold, more curious. "Ensign Park Ho," she said, "I have read your file. You graduated with honors from the Engineering Academy. You have received 3 commendations for creative problem-solving. You once saved 17 crew members by rerouting power during a system failure." "I was just doing my job, Admiral." "Humble as well," her tail curled. "Tell me, Ensign, do you know why you are here?" Ho swallowed hard. "Because I made an inappropriate comment about you, in the hallway." "An inappropriate comment," she repeated. "Is that what you think it was?" Yes, Admiral, I spoke without thinking. I was extremely tired. I had been awake for almost 24 hours. My brain was not functioning properly. I did not mean to say what I said out loud." Admiral walked closer to him. She moved with the silent grace of her species, her feet making no sound on the soft rugs. She stopped just a few feet away from him. "But you did mean to think it," she said. Ho felt his face grow hot. Well. You looked at me and your honest thought was that my rear was adorable." "Admiral, I need to explain something about humans." Ho took a deep breath. "We find fluffy things cute. It is built into our brains, we cannot help it. When we see something soft and fluffy, something in our minds goes and we want to touch it. It is why we have pets. It is why we love small animals. Your tail is very fluffy and my tired brain just reacted." Admiral's ears rotated forward. "You find fluffy things cute?" "Yes, all humans do. It is a universal response. We see fur or feathers or anything soft and we find it appealing, adorable, nice to look at." "And you found my tail appealing?" "Your tail is very impressive, Admiral." "What about the rest of me?" Ho's brain stopped working for a moment. The rest of you." "Yes, you commented on my posterior specifically. Do you find the rest of me cute?" This was a trap. Ho was sure of it. There was no right answer to this question. If he said yes, he would be confirming romantic interest. If he said no, he might insult her. He remembered Sid's advice, be honest. "Admiral, you are not cute," he said carefully. "Cute is for small things, harmless things. You are beautiful, you are impressive. You are also quite terrifying, but cute is not the right word for you." Admiral's pupils widened slightly. Her tail stopped moving. "You think I am beautiful?" she asked. "I think anyone with eyes would think you are beautiful, Admiral." She was quiet for a long moment. Then, to Ho's shock, she made a sound that might have been a laugh. It was soft and low, almost like a purr. "You are very honest, Ensign Park. I have been told that value honesty." "We do, more than you know." She walked to a low couch and sat down, folding her legs beneath her in a way that looked very cat-like. "Sit down. We have much to discuss." Ho looked around. There was another couch across from her. He sat down carefully, very aware that he was sitting in an admiral's private cabin on her personal furniture. "In culture," Admiral began, "what you did in that hallway was significant. You publicly commented on my tail and my body in a positive way. Among my people, this is a declaration of interest, a statement that you wish to pursue me romantically." "I understand that now, Admiral. I have spoken with others on the ship. I know I made a serious cultural mistake." "It is not just a cultural issue." She leaned forward slightly. "I am the Admiral of this fleet. I command thousands of officers. I have enemies who would love to see me embarrassed or weakened. When you made that comment in public, you created a situation." Ho felt cold. "What kind of situation?" "A situation where I must respond. If I ignore what you said, I look weak. If I punish you harshly, I look like I cannot handle a simple compliment. If I accept your declaration, I look like I am easily swayed by flattery from a junior officer." "I am so sorry, Admiral. I never meant to create problems for you." "I know." Her tail swayed slowly. "I can tell when people are lying, Ensign. It is a skill my species developed over thousands of years. You are not lying. You truly did not mean any harm." "Then what happens now?" Admiral's golden eyes met his. There was something in her expression that Ho could not quite read. "Now we solve this problem together," she said. "You will stay in my cabin." "What?" "You will be assigned to me as a cultural liaison. Officially, you will be helping me understand human customs and behavior. Unofficially, you will be here so I can observe you, learn about you, decide what to do with you." "How long will this last?" "As long as necessary." She tilted her head. "Do you object?" Ho looked at the most powerful person he had ever met. She was beautiful and terrifying, and he had accidentally proposed to her because he thought her butt was fluffy. "No, Admiral," he said, "I do not object." "Good." Something that might have been a smile crossed her face. "Your new quarters will be the room through that door. You will start your duties tomorrow. Tonight you will rest. You look exhausted." "I have not slept in over 24 hours. "Then sleep. We will talk more in the morning." Ho stood up slowly. This was not what he expected at all. He was not being punished. He was not being sent away. He was being kept. "Admiral," he said carefully, "why are you doing this? Why not just let me apologize and move on?" She looked at him with those golden eyes. "Because no one has ever called me adorable before," she said softly. "And I want to know what kind of person says such a thing to someone like me." Ho did not know what to say to that. He nodded awkwardly and walked to the door she had indicated. Behind him, he heard her make that soft purring sound again. He was definitely in trouble, but maybe not the kind of trouble he had expected. Ho woke up in the softest bed he had ever slept in. For a moment, he forgot where he was. Then the memories came flooding back and he sat up quickly. The Admiral's guest room was small but comfortable. The bed was covered in blankets made from some kind of alien silk that felt amazing against his skin. There was a small desk, a chair, and a window that looked out into space. It was nicer than anything he had ever had as a junior officer. He checked the time. It was early morning by ship standards. He had slept for 10 hours straight. Ho got dressed quickly in a fresh uniform that had somehow appeared in the closet. Someone had brought his personal items from his old quarters. His tablet, his few books, his picture of his family back on Earth. He stepped out of the guest room carefully. Admiral was sitting at a table near the window, eating breakfast. She looked up when he appeared. "Good morning, Ensign Park," she said. "You slept well." It was not a question. Ho wondered if she could hear him sleeping through the walls. Hearing was extremely good. "Yes, Admiral. Thank you for the comfortable room." "Sit, eat." She gestured to a seat across from her. There was food already waiting for him. Human food, toast, eggs, fruit. Someone had prepared breakfast specifically for him. Ho sat down and started eating. He was surprised by how hungry he was. "Today you will accompany me to my meetings," Admiral said. "You will observe. You will not speak unless spoken to. You will learn how I work." "Yes, Admiral." "You will also answer questions about human behavior when I ask them." "I will do my best, Admiral." She studied him over her cup of what smelled like strong tea. "You are very calm. Most people would be nervous in your situation." "I am very nervous, Admiral. I am just good at hiding it." Her ears twitched. "Interesting, humans can hide their emotions." "Some of us can. It is considered a useful skill in certain situations." "Among hiding emotions is difficult. Our tails give us away, our ears. Our fur can even change slightly based on our mood." She paused. "You cannot read these signals, can you?" Ho shook his head. "I know very little about body language. I know that ears back means focus or aggression. Tail up means happiness. Beyond that, I am ignorant." "Then I will teach you." She stood up from the table. "Come, we have work to do." The day that followed was unlike anything Ho had experienced before. He followed Admiral everywhere, to strategy meetings, to inspections, to discussions with other high-ranking officers. He stood in corners and watched and listened. He learned many things. He learned that Admiral was respected by everyone. Even species that did not like treated her with careful politeness. She had earned her position through years of brilliant military victories. He learned that she was also isolated. She ate alone. She walked alone. Other officers kept their distance from her, not out of disrespect but out of fear. She was too powerful, too intimidating. No one wanted to get too close to someone who could destroy their career with a single word. He learned that she was lonely. Ho saw it in the way she looked at groups of officers laughing together. He saw it in the way her tail drooped slightly when she returned to her empty cabin. He saw it in the way she seemed to watch him more and more as the day went on. That night, after a long day of meetings, they ate dinner together in her cabin. "You were quiet today," she said. "You told me not to speak unless spoken to." "I did," she tilted her head. "Did you learn anything?" Ho thought carefully about his answer. "I learned that you are very good at your job. I learned that people respect you. I also learned that people are afraid of you." "They should be afraid. I have killed many enemies of the Alliance." "That is not why they are afraid." Ho set down his fork. "They are afraid because you are powerful and alone. Power without connection is terrifying." Admiral's ears went flat against her head. Her tail stopped moving. "You speak boldly, Ensign." "You asked what I learned. I am being honest." "Humans value honesty too, it seems." "Some of us do." She was quiet for a long moment. Then her ears slowly relaxed. "You are not afraid of me," she said. It was almost a question. "I am very afraid of you, Admiral. You could end my career. You could probably end my life. But I am more afraid of lying to you than I am of making you angry." "Why?" "Because you asked me to be honest, and I think you are tired of people telling you only what you want to hear." Admiral stood up suddenly. Ho tensed, expecting anger. Instead, she walked to the window and looked out at the stars. 17 years, she said quietly. "I have been commanding ships for 17 years. In that time, I have had thousands of officers under my command. None of them have spoken to me the way you do. I am sorry if I have offended you." "You have not offended me." She turned to look at him. Her golden eyes were bright in the dim light. "You have confused me, Interested me, frustrated me, but not offended. Ho did not know what to say. When you called me adorable in that hallway, she continued, I was angry at first. It seemed like mockery, like a human making fun of my species. But then I saw your face. I saw the genuine shock, the horror. You truly did not mean to say it out loud. I did not. And yet you meant it. She walked closer to him. You looked at me and your honest reaction was that I was adorable, not frightening, not impressive, adorable. Your tail is very fluffy, Admiral. She made that purring laugh sound again. You are strange, Ensign Park Ho, very strange. I have been told that before. She stood in front of him now, close enough that he could see the individual hairs of her silver fur. Her tail was swaying slowly behind her. I have decided what to do with you, she said. Ho's heart started pounding. What have you decided? You will remain here, not as punishment, not as cultural liaison, but as something else. As what? She leaned down until her face was level with his. He could see himself reflected in her golden eyes. As someone who tells me the truth, she said. As someone who is not afraid to see me as I am. As someone who looked at the terror of the Alliance fleet and saw something adorable. Admiral, she interrupted, when we are alone you will call me. Ho swallowed hard. Her tail curled upward, her ears pointed forward. Even with his limited knowledge, he knew these were good signs. Tomorrow we will begin your real education, she said. You will learn everything about my species, my culture, my history, and in return you will teach me about humans, about why you find fluffy things cute, about why you blurt out honest thoughts when you are tired. That sounds like a lot of work. It will be, she smiled, showing sharp teeth that should have been frightening but somehow were not, but I think it will be worth it. She straightened up and walked toward her own room. Good night, Ho, she said without looking back. Good night. Her tail swayed happily as she disappeared through the door. Ho sat alone in the cabin, his heart still racing. He had no idea what was happening anymore, but for the first time since this whole mess started, he did not feel afraid. He felt something else entirely. 3 weeks passed in Admiral's cabin. Ho learned more about culture than he had ever thought possible. He learned about their history as hunters on a cold, dark world. He learned about their strict codes of honor. He learned about their complicated mating rituals, which made him blush furiously while watched with obvious amusement. He also learned about herself. She had been born to a military family. Her mother was a warrior. Her father was a warrior. Her grandparents had been warriors. Fighting was in her blood. She had first commanded a ship at the age of 23, young even by standards. She had won her first major battle at 25. By 30, she was already a legend. But legends, Ho discovered, were often lonely. My species values strength above all else, told him one evening. They were sitting on her couch, closer than they had been 3 weeks ago. Strength of body, strength of will, strength of command. I have all of these things. But, Ho asked. But strength can become a wall. Her tail curled around her legs. A wall that keeps enemies out also keeps friends out. I built my walls very high, Ho. I built them so high that even I could not see over them anymore. He understood what she meant. He had seen it in the way other officers still looked at her. Respect, yes. Admiration, yes, but also distance, fear. Except now there was something else in their eyes. Confusion, curiosity. Ho had noticed that people talked about him. The human who lived with the Admiral. The human who walked beside her in hallways. The human who made her laugh. Laughed more now. Ho had made it his personal mission. You have changed things, she said, as if reading his thoughts. People look at me differently now. They see me with you and they wonder. Wonder what? Wonder if the great Admiral has found something she values more than strength. Ho felt his chest tighten. What would that something be? turned to look at him directly. Her golden eyes were soft in the cabin's warm light. Her silver fur seemed to glow. "Connection," she said. "Honesty. Someone who sees me as I truly am, not as the legend I have become." "I am old by human standards," she continued. 63 years, but live for 200 years or more. I have much life ahead of me, and for the first time in decades, I am thinking about what I want that life to look like. Ho's heart was pounding. This conversation had taken a turn he had not expected, or maybe he had expected it. Maybe he had been hopping for it. "What do you want it to look like?" he asked quietly. Reached out with one clawed hand and touched his face. Her pads were soft, softer than he had imagined. Her claws, which could tear through metal, were gentle against his cheek. "I want it to include someone who thinks my tail is fluffy," she said. "Someone who looks at me without fear. Someone who tells me the truth, even when the truth is difficult." That sounds like a very specific list. It is. Her tail uncurled and swayed behind her. "I have spent 3 weeks observing you, learning about you. In culture, this is the first stage of courtship." Ho's eyes went wide. "Courtship? You made a public declaration in that hallway. You said my rear was adorable. Among my people, that is a proposal. I have spent these weeks deciding whether to accept." "And have you decided?" Leaned closer. Her face was inches from his. He could smell her fur, a warm scent like spices and forest. "I have decided," she said, "that you are the strangest human I have ever met. You are also the kindest, the most honest, the most foolishly brave." "Foolishly brave?" "You walked into my cabin knowing you might die. You told me truths that no one else would dare to speak. You made me laugh when I had forgotten how." She paused. "These are not small things." Ho swallowed. "What happens now?" "Now you must decide. In culture, the one who receives the proposal has made their choice, but the one who proposed must confirm their intention." "You want me to confirm that I want to court you?" "I want you to be honest, as you always are." Ears were pointed forward. Her tail was raised high. "Do you want this, Ho, not just as an accident, not just as words spoken in exhaustion? Do you truly want to know me, to be with me?" Ho thought about the past 3 weeks. He thought about waking up in her cabin, about eating meals with her, about learning her language, her customs, her history, about the way she purred when she was happy, about the way her tail drooped when she was sad, about the way she looked at him when she thought he was not watching. He thought about how empty his old life seemed now. "Yes," he said, "I want this." His entire body relaxed. Her tail curled with joy. She made a sound that was pure happiness, a rumbling purr that seemed to fill the whole cabin. "Then it is decided," she said. "You are mine, Ho, and I am yours." "Is there a ceremony, something we need to do?" "There will be ceremonies later, formal rituals, but for now there is only this." She leaned forward and pressed her forehead against his. In culture, Ho had learned this was the most intimate gesture of connection, more meaningful than any kiss. He closed his eyes and felt the warmth of her. "The crew will talk," he murmured. "The crew already talks, let them." "Your officers might object, a junior human engineer and an admiral." "My officers can object all they want, I am still the admiral." She pulled back slightly and smiled, showing her sharp teeth. "Besides, they have already noticed that I am happier. A happy admiral makes better decisions. They will accept this." Ho laughed. It was a small, surprised sound. "You have thought about everything." "I am a military strategist. Thinking ahead is what I do." "And what does your strategy say about us, about the future?" His golden eyes sparkled. "My strategy says that I will teach you everything about my people. You will become an expert in culture. You will also continue your engineering work because you are talented and the ship needs good engineers." "And what will you do?" "I will command the fleet, win battles, protect the alliance." She curled her tail around his waist, pulling him closer. and I will come home to you every night and let you tell me that my tail is fluffy." Ho grinned. "Your tail is very fluffy." "I know," she purred again. "I have also decided that humans give excellent compliments, even if they give them at inappropriate times in public hallways. I am never going to live that down, am I?" "Never," stood up and pulled him to his feet. "Now come, we have much to do. I must introduce you to my family through the communication system. They will want to know about the human who captured their daughter's heart with a single sentence." "This is terrifying." "Yes, but you are foolishly brave. You will be fine." Ho let her lead him toward the communication terminal. His life had changed completely in just 3 weeks. He had gone from junior engineer to the partner of the most powerful admiral in the fleet. All because he had been too tired to keep his thoughts inside his head. He looked at her silver fur and golden eyes and very fluffy tail. He looked at the way she walked with confidence and power. He looked at the way she turned to smile at him, her ears forward and her tail high. She was still terrifying, she was still beautiful, and now somehow she was his. He said as they reached the terminal, "Yes, your butt is still adorable." She laughed, a full and joyful sound that filled the cabin. "I know," she said, "and now it belongs to you." Ho decided that getting no sleep had been the best decision he ever made.